So, what exactly are we doing today? Today, we are discussing prototyping. We're discussing prototyping, the beauty of it, how it works, what it does, the possibilities that are within it. All right, prototyping. In the last class, we discussed component variants, if you recall, where we did prototype of the variants, but it was very basic. You remember I said that was like the basic um, component variant class, but we can have we are supposed to have a more advanced one than that. Okay, so today we just want to go, right into the prototyping itself, like what exactly is prototyping and how to go about it. So this document was prepared, and I've sent it to you guys. This document was prepared by myself so that you can have something to scan or read at your leisure. All right, so let's push. I said it's not going to be a very long one today. So prototyping, the 1 to 10 to 100 rule. How early prototyping prevents costly errors in advance. This is a picture that I got from the internet. I can't even remember where. But what they're saying here is that prevention cost is $1, correction cost is $10, and failure cost is $100. The prevention cost is, for example, when you are evaluating usability through early paper prototypes. And then correction cost is fixing usability errors discovered through usability tests with high correction. And then failure cost is what's failure cost there is fixing the code and lost revenue, fixing the code and lost revenue, right? So that is failure cost. So what are those exactly? I'm not going to say it's not something that you have to lay much emphasis on. But in summary, saying that if you prototype earlier, you would make less mistakes. You would have less mistakes to atone for much later in the design or project development process. So what exactly is prototyping? So, when considering the stages of prototyping, one common error is to see them as a linear process. In actuality, prototype processes tend to be far more cyclical. A designer may design a prototype, evaluate it, discard it, and design it repeatedly. That is the entire point of prototyping, to produce a complete vision of the creator's idea that demonstrates its viability and instills faith in the proposition. Blah blah blah. Now, the fourth stage of both design sprints and design thinking is prototyping. If you remember, the stage number 4 in your design thinking process, I think it was prototyping, yeah? So, it is a crucial component of user experience design that typically follows ideation, in which you and your team have developed and chosen concepts that can meet user needs. Now, in prototyping, you create a straightforward experimental model of a desired product so that you can evaluate how it responds to user feedback. You should think about that early on, blah, 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 blah. Stages of prototyping. There are various stages of prototyping, right? So sometimes it makes sense to demonstrate how an idea works with a model. I don't want to read much because this is not even an area of concern. Slide number 5. So defining the vision and the objective, the designer needs to create a broad vision for their product at this stage in the prototyping process. This stage might involve sketches, but it can also be a verbal description if a few crucial questions are addressed. So what issues does it address? What is the primary market? What additional choices are there? Blah blah blah. Slide number 6. Focus on key features, right? So making an attempt to make prototype and find product similar is a mistake made by many designers. What does that mean? Some designers want to make the prototype look exactly the way it's supposed to look when the design, the product has been developed. It's not always the case. It might not always work like that. Focus on the key features. Alright, so this is helpful when the prototype is used to convince investors of its value. Let's say you're having a prototype, you're having a presentation for an app. Now you want people to fund your idea. like you have to let them see how it's going to work, and you can do that with prototyping. Click on this button, it takes you to this page. Click on this, it takes you to this. Click on this, it does this. It's just as simple as that. And then slide number 7, we have produce number 3, and then here we have this is just an image. I think the main content is on the next slide, which is producing with Figma. Right. So Figma is the tool that we're using for prototyping in this class. There are other tools such as Protopie, etc., etc. But Figma, I would recommend Figma because Figma is actually very much recommended. I use Figma for all my jobs. Right. So A is the prototype panel. Look at this image here. So you see A is your prototype panel. B is to add a new prototype flow, which is this one here where you see flow starting point, right? Then you have C, which is to um, I just want to confirm that the record is still on. Okay, yeah, still on. So we have C, which is to add and configure interactions. Note that interactions. D, add and configure overflow scrolling, right? F, present prototype. Then we go to slide number 9. So create prototype flows. So one or more prototype flows may exist for each page in your Figma file, and everyone must have a distinct beginning and end. Click the add icon next to flow starting point. All of these are just instructions basically. So add interactions. Interactions are the primary feature for. Let's go to Figma. I think it's best if I explain it. I can explain it. Let's explain it. Let me explain it much better on Figma, right? So I'm just going to open one of these designs that I have. Hold on, I'll share my screen. I know that you guys can't see what I'm doing right now. Alright, so I'll just do that one. So I'm just going to share Figma. I'll share the entire screen right now so that you can see it anywhere I go to Figma. Alright, so I know that you can see my screen very visibly. So let's push. So what exactly are those things that I was reading out? I mean, you remember there's something like interactions even before then. We had, I think we had in slide number, was it number 6? Okay, number 8. Talked about the prototype panel, prototype flow. So let's actually look at them in the design. That's why I am opening this design that is taking too long to respond. So I'm opening it so that we can actually, okay, we see it there, we see it here, and then we're satisfied that, oh, we have actually seen it here and we've seen it there, so we know how this guy actually works. Just trying to wait for it to finish loading. I'm just open another Figma file here. It's probably internet, but it's going to come up like, okay, everything is coming up. Okay, so let's give it like, let's say maybe 10 seconds or less. So what I want to explain is, I mean, what I want to show you rather is all of these guys so that you can see that it's there. Although every time Figma updates, some things there might change, but it's pretty much the same. So we have interactions and we have trigger, we have action and we have animation. All of these I'll show you. And then we have connecting layers where you add, two layers and connect them. I should be showing you all of these actually. So let me check if it has loaded now. Okay, it's still loading. Okay, good. So while it's loading, let me just see. So look at this for example. This is this is connecting layers frame to frame. You can see that these are frames, but they are being connected. If you look on the right here, you will see this. This is where you change the if you want to put it into a device, your prototype. It's all about presentation, right? So you can actually do that from there. Okay. So let's go to the Figma file. Wow, it's still loading. Okay, great. So it has loaded. Anyways, I would just like to tell you first of all that this is not my design. I got it on the community. I could show you. I think one of the things we'll do is how to get designs from community much later. I just want to show you examples of how this prototyping thing works. All right. So looking at the design here, come over here. You see the prototype tab, which is if you remember when I think it's slide number. I want to put it side by side. So slide number 8, right? That's the prototype panel. Now then we have the prototype flow, which is the B, the prototype flow. So if you go here, you see flow starting points, you see interactions, and then you see scroll behavior for overflow, right? So all of these things are in the document. Okay. If I come here and click on this, for example, you see that there's a flow starting point here. If I click on this minus sign, I'm just going to take it off. Now you see there are no more flow starting points. But here you can see some lines, right? You can see all these lines here are the prototypes. They are actually what is prompting each prototype. For example, this screen here is being told to go to this one, all right? But I don't know what the interaction is. Remember the word interaction is here. Just hold on a bit. Okay, interaction. They are the primary feature used when building a prototype. Use them to show different behavior effects and applicational patterns. They work by connecting two layers, then determining how those layers will interact with each other by adding a trigger, action, etc., animation, blah blah blah. Alright, so this one here, to know how this guy is going to come to this guy, I have to click on this. So when I click on this, I get this pop-up there where it's telling me that, oh, after delay, after delay of 1600 milliseconds, this page is going to what? Navigate to this page. That's why you have this one here. Let me give you an example with, I'll just draw 2 frames and give you an example. So as long as I'm in the prototype tab, as long as I'm there, I can just come over here, click on this, and drag this. You see that it's draggable. You can drag the life the way they are dragging Nigeria. You can drag the life over here. So when you drag it over there, then you see that by default it is usually on click, right? It's usually on click. But you can be the one to change it to on drag while hovering. Remember in the last class when we did component variants, we used the while hovering. You can do while pressing key or gamepad, right? Mouse enter, mouse leave, mouse down, mouse up after delay, right? This after delay is what you have on this one here. You can see when I click here, you can see it's after delay of 1600 milliseconds. So what exactly is 1600 milliseconds? That's like a minute. I mean, sorry, a second is 1 second and 600 milliseconds because I think 1000 ms is equals to 1000 ms in seconds. I think it's equal to 1 second, right? See, 1000 milliseconds is equals to 1 second. So yes, I'm correct. So in 1.6 seconds, it's going to come over here. So what I could do is um here is where I'm going to choose the device I want to work with. You can see that this is an iPhone X. So if I want to work with iPhone X not there wonderful. So let me come here and see the device size. So it's 375 by 812. I think that's 13 mini. So if I come over here, I think it's 13 mini, 375 by 812. So that's the screen size I can use to actually play. But I can equally, because sometimes some laptops do not allow prototyping with that particular using devices to prototype because of the strength, maybe the graphic, the graphics quality of the device that you're working with. So what you can do is just anywhere click outside, don't click on the design, click outside, come over to this prototype, then none. Make sure you select none for your devices so that when you click on the prototype, the play button, I just clicked here. This is to play or present. It basically is going to prototype your pages, show the prototype of your pages, but it's not going to be in a frame. Okay, and that works best for all PCs, right? I think that should work for all PCs because sometimes we might get laptops that might not actually work with these um, prototypes because sometimes they are very heavy, I believe. So while that one is loading, we talk about the flow starting point. So what is the flow starting point? Look here now. This one is the one that is selected. If I click on this, you see a flow one here. So when I do that, you see flow, it should be flow one. But I just saw that there's flow three somewhere, there's flow two somewhere, most likely, and maybe there's a flow one somewhere. Regardless, if I click on this again, I can just come here and of course double click on it to rename it. So this I can say is example, right? So you see I've renamed it from, look, I did not spell example there, I spelled something else as well. So basically when the prototype is going to play, you see something like this. You see it, because the reason why it works like this is because, oh, this is after delay. I mean, look at it. Started from here, then this guy loaded, and then this guy loaded. So if we come back here to see, okay, how, what happened there? So we come over here, we click on this, and we see that, oh, after 1.6 seconds, it's going to take you to this screen. And then if you come over here, you will see that, click on this blue arrow here or connector. You see that after delay of 800 milliseconds, it's now going to take you into this one, right? So that's exactly what we have here. Hold on, I think I may have. So you just look at it like that. So it's like that. This thing that is blinking here is done with component variants. I mean, you can do component variants, like really, it's pretty simple. And maybe perhaps we'll do that today, and if not today, perhaps in the next class we'll take component variants. All right. And this one here is like a toggle, right, to enable 2FA authentication. But you can actually make it clickable, just the way we did those buttons in the last class with component variants. But I don't want to go into that because what I'm trying to explain here is just prototypes. When you create a flow starting point on your prototype, you're going to see it somewhere around here. It has to be here, unless your laptop is not normal. It has to be here. If you click on flow 2, it's going to bring the screen that has been assigned to flow 2. You understand? It's going to bring out that screen. If you click on flow 3, what is flow 3? What ours is this example or example, and that's why it's taking us to this page. If, for example, I come to this one now, I click on it and I say this is going to be flow 4. I come back here, you see flow 4. When I click on it, it brings this page. Alright, so it brings this page. You guys already know how to make something like this code. We've done that in the previous class. So I don't think that should be an issue for anybody here. Alright, so let's push to the next few things on the slide. Okay, let me just ensure that we are still connected. Alright, good. So we're still connected. That's right. So interactions, then we have trigger. So what exactly is a trigger, action, and then animation? So let's go back to Figma, right? Let's go back to Figma. So I'm just going to zoom into this guy. So I'll click on this again. So this one here, the after delay is what? What are we going to call the after delay? That is more like the interaction, right? What is the interaction? Interact means, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for you to do something? Or I have to do something, I have to interact with you. So what interaction? So if, for example, I say it's going to be on drag, this screen will never go to this screen in my prototype unless I drag the screen on the prototype. And I can show you an example real quick. I'm going to drag this example to this screen so that when I come back here and click on example, it's going to be this one. You see that this guy is never going to load, right? It is not going to load. But watch this. If I click on it, it's not still loading. I am clicking actually. I wish showing the hot, actually showing the hot points, but I'm actually clicking. But once I drag, Baba loads. You see, it's as simple as that. Baba is going to load. So this is the interaction. I'm just going to take it back to after today because it makes sense there. Now, what is this one here? This is navigate to. This is more like the action. I think this is the action. Let me confirm from here. Okay, yes, that's correct. So the change that is happening, navigate to, change to, open overlay, swap overlay, close overlay, back scroll to open, and blah blah blah. So that is the action. All right. So the action is navigate to. If, for example, I say um swap overlay, it's going to do something different, right? And we just want to make sure navigate to is selected. Then after that, we have the animation. Under the animation, we have this one here, which is going to be the animation, right? What kind of animation do you want to have? Is it instant, dissolve, or smart animate? Do you want it to move in? I'm going to click on moving and show you something. So it's on after delay, and we have moving, and this one is selected, so it has to move in from the left. If we come back here, click on example, so we start. Watch this. It's going to move in. You see that it moved. If I come here and increase the time to 5,000, it's going to take it 5 seconds to actually move in, right? So watch this. After 5 seconds, that it's going to move. Right. Now, if I want the movement to be slow, I'm just going to come here and increase the time of the movement. Then if I put it at 5,000 milliseconds, it's going to be 5 seconds. So here's what's going to happen. It's going to wait 5 seconds, and then it's going to take another 5 seconds to move completely. Watch this now. See it. See how it's doing like one lazy something, right? But that is prototyping, right? That is you animating. Okay. Now equally, actually you can also have move out. You can have dissolve as well, right? Now let me see. There's something I'm missing. So the trigger, the event that causes a change on tap on blah blah blah. Yeah, we covered that. Behavior of the change. Okay, that's the animation. That's what we just covered, right? Then we have connecting layers, right? So let me just get this here so that we can see some things. So connecting layers, this is just simple as ABC. It's basically just connecting the layers, which is what we've done here, right? Which is what we've done here. Imagine I come over here and I delete this guy. I just click on it, click on delete, it's gone. It's not there anymore. So I come here and I say, you know what, when they come into the page, let it be that is when they click on this wallet that they can actually get to this page. So on click, navigate to, and then I'll probably just say, let me say push, right? And then I say, let me make it like 2000 milliseconds. If I come back here, see that once my mouse goes over the e-wallet, it's going to show something that this cursor, this icon that makes you understand that this is clickable. It's not doing the same thing for this illustration here or this here or this. It's just this. So when I click on this, it pushes to this. So that is just an example of um, prototyping, right? Nothing too serious. So let's move on. There's still a bit that we have to cover in the next um, 10 minutes, right? Because I told you that this is not going to be a very long class. So the next one here we have instant interaction. So what is instant interaction? Remember, we talked about there was slide, there was push, and there is also instant there. I don't know if you saw it, but I can just go back there to ensure that I show you. So let's say this should come to this. So this instead of push, we have instant, dissolve, smart animate, move in, move out, push, slide out. Right. So these are your animations that are actually available in Figma. Right. So those are I think it's about six. So let's just keep moving on now. So what you're going to do is practice, right? Practice makes what perfect. You're just going to practice with each of them. So while hovering interaction, so you look at this for example, look at what's going to happen here. The cursor goes there, and when the cursor gets there, something is going to happen. You see it, something is going to happen. So if I go back, you see that this is while hovering interaction, for instance, show to tip, blah 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 blah. So maybe we should do the while hovering because it's simple as well. So let's imagine that I'm just going to draw a circle here like this and do something like this. All right, watch this now. What I want to do is that on this screen, I want to hover on something, maybe this one. Let me change the color of this circle so it's very obvious. Let's say red. So let's say okay, when I hover on this guy in my prototype, I want this guy to pop out, right? So I'm going to try it and show you. I'm going to show you something at once. You're going to learn something new as well. I'm going to take this guy and bring it to this guy. But look at this. Do you see that it's not touching it? Feel like say you know there, feel like putting no there. You understand? You can see it's not there, it's not interacting with it. Why? But look, it's interacting with this guy, it's interacting with this guy, interacting with this guy, and this guy as well. But why is it not interacting with this guy? It's simple. It's simple. What is the reason? The reason is because this guy is a shape and not a frame. You know, it's if you want to create a hover instance, it has to be a frame. Look at this for example. I think this is a very good example. I think I see something here. Okay, so what is the name of this flow? This is flow 4. So I'm just going to go to flow 4 and show you something real quick. So flow 4, when I click here, look at what happens. This is more like an open overlay interaction because this is on click. If you go back here and click on this, you will see it's open overlay. You can see this open overlay. It's not navigate to. Remember we talked about this like 2, 3, 4 minutes ago. It's not navigate to the user's open overlay. So depends on what you're trying to achieve. There are several options for you to actually explore. So let's go back to this one. So how do we get this guy to interact with this guy? Click on this guy, right click on it and make it a frame by selecting frame selection. When you do that, this young guy here is going to be able to interact with this girl flawlessly. Right? Then all you have to do is come here and say while hovering, not navigate to, you're going to say something like open overlay, right? Just say open overlay and come over here. Overlay has some options for you, such as where do you want to place the overlay? Look at this now, for example. If I go to example here, so if I hover on this guy, look at where it's coming up. You see it at the center. But what if I want it to come up maybe at the bottom here? You come over here, you have centered, but you want to go for, let's say, manual, so that you can now place it. When you click on manual, you can place it where you want it to be, and that's where it's going to be. See that? You see that? So that's exactly of what we have here. Okay, so I just had to explain that because I understand that that might be something that you might have to do extra research to figure out because I don't think I wrote it down. Alright. So these are animated interactions. Several. This is use animations to give interactions movements. So you have dissolve, moving, move out, push, sliding, slide out. To alter the animation, choose various easing curves and change the timing. Right. So all of these animations that you're going to try out in your own time. Right. You're going to try out in your own time. Then we have the easing curves. Like how the easing curves actually work. The animation speed is at the start, middle, and end is determined by the easing curves. Right? A linear animation will move continuously at the same speed, while an animation that is set to easing will start out slowly before picking up speed. Alright, so where do you get something like this? I think I should actually show us that because I'm just trying to make sure I pick the ones that might be a bit difficult to see immediately, right? So to figure out immediately, right? So I'm going to come here and say, let's say for example, I want to use this. I come over here, let's say smart animate easing, right? This is what he's talking. This is what I'm talking about. Where I wrote easing. This is easing, right? This is easing. So easing means it's going to start slowly, but then get faster at some point. So it's going to be something like this. So when I come over here, what is the interaction doing? So it's on click, right? So when I click, you see it's easing in. You get that easing. So that is easing, right? That is easing. Joe Samson, I need to know if you can hear me clearly now. It seems that you said that my voice may be breaking. So let me know if it's clearer now. And I see some people raising their hands. You can type your question in the comment section. I will not miss it. Okay. Joe Samson, I need to hear from you. I need to know that you can hear me loud and clear and that my voice is not breaking, please. Okay. Alright. So just drop a comment so that I'm sure that you can hear me. Okay. Alright, I'll just move on. Just make sure try your best to actually hear me. Okay, so let's come back here. Okay, yeah, there's something I wanted to show you guys as well. There is this if you come over here and click on linear, that is under the where you have the easy, you can choose all other options here. You can test these things out. There's no one way to getting it done right. When you come over to linear here, you can actually set a linear interaction as well. And then you have slow, you have custom spring. So here you just be doing some things, blah blah blah, to set the speed, the enchant speed, and the final speed of those animations, smart animating, blah blah blah. Alright, so this now that I just did, we have something like this. So you see that was fast at some point, then it got slow. Right, so let's just move on. There's a lot to cover. I just want to make sure everything is covered. So automatic scroll. Like you guys know this much already. No, 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 you don't know this one. You don't know this one. The one you know is vertical and horizontal scrolling, right? If you look at this, for example, look at this example. It comes up there, it clicks on something, it scrolls down to something, right? Clicks on something, it scrolls down to something. So maybe we should do something like that. Yeah, let's just do something like that real quickly. So let's imagine that this. Let's use this page here. There's a longer page here. So let's say imagine when the user clicks on this amount here, you want to scroll down to this all here, for example. So I'm just going to come over here and click on this and take it down there, and then you see this. It automatically is going to tell you scroll to. But why? It's because you are creating an interaction within the same frame, right? Within the same frame. So that's why it's saying scroll to. So here I can just say maybe animate, and I'm just going to say something like ease in, right? So we just going to come over here and look for four, and let's click on this and see. It's as simple as that. That is scroll to interaction is not difficult at all. Right? So let's just move on. Everything is just simple. It's just you keep trying, you keep getting it, right? Menu illustration. So look at this, for example. Now the user goes there, he clicks on this. If you open the file on PowerPoint, you'll be able to see these things just where I'm actually seeing them here because I made all of them actually work. This interaction is which one exactly? If you look here, you see on tap, open overlay, top left. See, so there's a screenshot of what you're doing. It's just there. It's right there. You understand? So it's right there. There's a screenshot for you there. And then we have smart animate interactions. So look at these guys. So smart animate interactions is used when you want to identify matching layers on various frames and animate the difference between them. Use smart animates, right? These variations may involve a shifts in size, color, position, among other things. Using their names and layout, that Figma will to determine which layers match. All right, so this is actually more like okay, smart animate is like one of the coolest features that we can find in Figma, like as of today, one of those coolest features for prototyping because you can match layers. Like you can have when you have two layers that have the same names, you can actually make them do one particular thing using smart animate, right? You can make them have one particular action. So look at this, for example. This is on and off toggle. Meanwhile, I'm going to send. There are some videos that I'm going to recommend to us later on. Just maybe if there's some things you want to try out and everything based on maybe your assignments, etc. Okay, look at this now, for example. Clever animation to the on switch frames, click the off switch, blah blah blah. Then clever animation, click the on switch to move the off switch frame, blah blah blah. Secret location from left to right and the blue background, blah 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 blah. I usually do if I want to create a toggle like this, I would do it with component variants instead. I would do it not I will not be using smart and clever animate for that. An example is what we have here. Let's use this page to create that toggle experience. So I'm just going to come over here and probably just drag this guy out, go to design, right? So what am I going to do? I need an off and an on, right? So okay, we have two already. So I'm going to come over to this one, click on this circle, and I'm going to make this one the on, right? So probably just change this color to let's say the primary color here. So what am I going to do with both of them? You know this already. I'm going to make the component multiple components and then combine as variants. Then I'm going to tell this one that see, bro, when I when I what when I click on you change to this instance dissolve smart animate, and that's all. So I just come over here. I can just name it toggle, right? Sorry, I think I made a mistake there. So I just come over here and then I name it toggle. Toggle. Then I told you that if you want to make use of your components, all you need to do is come to assets. If you remember the last class, you will find it there. And then I'm just going to drag it in there. I don't want to, maybe I should replace it with this one here. So I'm just going to keep it somewhere around here. I go to this page. What is the frame? We need to know the frame. So I'm just going to take flow 4 to this guy so that we can have this guy on flow 4. Right? So when I click example, click on flow 4, I have this. So watch this. So you see that, but I'm clicking on it again, but it's not going back. It's not going back because I did not prototype the component to actually go back. Right? Remember that I only did for the forward movement. So what I need to do is come here and tell this one to come back here and click. I need to zoom into that to make sure I did it correctly. Like out. So just come here and tell this one, you know what, go back here if I click on you. That's it. So when I come over here, it's going to just work flawlessly. That is, for me, that's my clever animation, just using smart variants and components, right? Okay, so let's push. Let's see what else we can do. Let's see. All of these guys, pretty simple, pretty simple, pretty simple. All right, so delete email interaction. All right, so drag the email. This is what you're going to do. What I'm trying to tell you is that, okay, look at this now. This is the conclusion. This is what it's going to look like when you're done. This is how you're going to get it done, right? This is how you're going to get it done. So look at this. You have one and two. You have the first state, you have the second state. The second state is the one that has the delete, and then you have the third state, which is the one that has this deleted gone and this guy coming up. So this is on drag. You can see the interaction here is on drag. You might not really see it from where you are, but if you look at the slide that I sent, you will see that it's on drag actually. So this is on drag. So when you drag, that is why when you now drag this guy, it will now take you to this one smoothly because it is easy, right? Then after delay, it will take you to this one. So it's just simple prototyping animation that I don't try much later. So fixed position. So what exactly is fixed position? You can see here. You remember we talked about constraints in one of the previous classes. So I'm on somewhere on constraint or somewhere where constraint is, you will see fixed position, but that I think that is not applicable to the current Figma, and this is what I mean. I don't think it's applicable to the current Figma. The last time I checked, let's say for example, let's use the long screen. So let's say I want this menu, right? Let me bring it up here. Let's say I want it to just stick there. You will see that when you come over here, you have constraints, but we can't find that stick or ever there. But if you come to prototype, you can find something such as position. So you see it has been updated, right? Figma has updated it now. So position you have fixed. Fixed means stay in place. Sticky means stop at the top edge. So let's say that this page is scrollable, but somehow you want to have a part of the screen stop at. You don't want it to go beyond the screen. That is your illustration, right? So let's say we use. Let me take this guy for example, and let me say sticky stop at the top edge. Now watch this. I'm just going to make it flow for one more time by dragging this here. So watch this. When I come here and look at that and look at it, and I scroll, you will see that it's scrolling, right? But watch this. It's going to stop at the top because I have commanded it to do that. So you see, it has actually stopped at the top of the screen, right? So it's not going to go beyond the top. That is the. I think I should make it more obvious. Let me drag it up somewhere around here. Right, so look at this now, for example. See, I'm going to scroll. Watch it. You see, it's still there. You can see it's still there. It's just my the top of my prototype paint is actually just coming over. That's okay. So that's that for that guy. Nothing too complex. Like I said, how to do it is there. You just all you need to do is just practice it, right? And then you will have your assignments to do that. Interactive checkbox. What do you see there? I think I am seeing components, right? I'm seeing variants. Just just simple. It's just as simple as that. All right, just pretty simple. So that's what it does. You can see it. You can make interactive checkboxes, and that's pretty simple. Now you have interactive buttons. I think we did this in the last class with the M Spot example. Just that we didn't pay much attention to the prototyping, but basically this is what it is. So hover. Click. I think it's supposed to click. Did you not click? Let me see. While hovering after delay. So okay, yeah. On click, change to. Wait, let me see something. So this is while hovering after delay. Then this should be on click. So when you click on the button while hovering, it takes you to this one. I think that's where we got that last guy from. All right. So that is that for buttons. How was this? And do you have questions? Do you have any questions? That is the last prototype that I'm actually sharing to you guys because I feel like this much is enough for you to do. Um, this much is enough for you to actually get really busy with prototyping, right? So let me have your questions, right? Like, you have any questions at all? Do you have any questions at all for me? I need to know your questions because I'm sure that you should have, questions. You most definitely should have questions. So what are those questions that you have at this time? You can write them down on the chat section so that I can actually see them and respond to you. Otherwise, I'm sure that the explanation was very thorough. So if you don't have questions, I will actually understand. Okay. But do you have questions? Just be careful so that I don't miss out on any questions. I'm just going to let us ask questions probably for the next 2 minutes. What questions do you have? All right. So, what are your questions? So everything is clear. I need to know that everything is clear. If everything is clear, let me know in the comment section that you understand this much, so that I can now I'll have to think about the best way to give you an assignment, the best assignment to give you for you to practice all of these guys and make submissions. Okay, so is everything clear? Do you have any objections at any point? Something you didn't understand properly? Let me know. But if everything is clear, let me know as well so that I know that, oh, it's actually clear and all of you understand what we've done so far, right? So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now so I can have a very good view of your avatars, right? So is everything clear? Is everything clear? I'm asking you, is everything clear? Let me know. Jamila Ibrahim, let me know. Izama Samson, Chindil, let me know. Jonathan, let me know. Isaac, let me know that everything is clear. Friday, let me know as well that everything is clear. Blessing Best, let me know that everything is clear. All right. So I actually believe that everything is clear because it's not a difficult thing at all. So blessing, you missed some places because of network. Okay, yeah, I understand. You would have to go through the video again. That's fine. Something, yes, yes. That is why you might need to go through the video again. It's not a very long one. No, I don't want it to be too lengthy, so that because it's a deep topic. You get it's a deep topic, but it's something that once you understand, right? So I don't want it to be too lengthy. So you will have to go through the video again to catch up on some of the things that I have explained. The document is already on the group, and I'll be giving you a very detailed assignment on what to do. It's probably going to come tonight alongside the link. All right. Okay, Franklin, I get you. I hear you. Um, that's fine. The video is going to be available for you to actually work with, and that's okay. All right. So that's all we are doing for today. I would like to thank you for being in attendance, and also for those that are going to watch the video later on. It's really cool that you actually bring out time to do it. That's actually um, it's very nice to your own self. Okay, because knowledge is power, and power is definitely going to power is definitely going to be something that you would get with the more knowledge you accumulate and the more you implement this knowledge, right? So you become more valuable and pretty expensive, and that's actually the objective, and then you solve a lot of problems, right? Solve a lot of problems. Okay, that's fine. So, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the class for today. Because I think I saw your comment. You said I didn't respond to your assignment. Send it to me personally so that I can see which one exactly you're referring to. And that is what we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have an assignment come up soon, like later tonight. I just need to make sure it's very well detailed, so that it touches every aspect of prototyping. Okay. Yes, I'm going to send a recording for the class. I'm going to send a recording for the class, almost immediately. All right, so we can start living now. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking out the time to learn and grow. It's the best thing that you're doing for yourself this past few weeks. Right? So keep growing, keep learning. See you at the top. So I'm going to cut the call in 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5, 4, 3. Thank you to Glory. Thank you to I see you. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.